Welcome to Keith and the Girl. I'm Keith Malley.
I'm Chemda.
We, of course, are recording live from New York City because of the virus. Chemda and I are in separate places. But you know New York City, right? Yellow cab, gypsy cab, dollar cab, hollaback. New York City. And what an exciting place. Chemda has lived here most of your life, right?
Yep, since I was 4.
And I moved from the country, Somerset, Pennsylvania, close to Pittsburgh, but definitely the country. And I just saw a news article today. Somerset man arrested for threatening 3 with a sword. That's Somerset. Now that's Somerset. A Somerset man is facing charges for threatening 3 people with a sword, causing police to break down the apartment door. Elias Har, 42 of Somerset. I'm 47. Nobody in my family recognizes this last name, though.
Okay.
So he might be an import.
It's a very small area. So yeah.
Not only a small area, he was arrested on the street that I lived on when I was on my own. Arrested Wednesday morning after police were called to an apartment building on East Patriot Street. That's where I was. Police report they were unable to get into the building when they heard Har scream, quote, "I'll fucking kill you." By
Wait,
the way,
there are buildings in Somerset?
We have, how do you mean? Yeah, like caves. We have buildings.
No, I mean like apartment buildings as opposed to houses that are maybe 2-family houses. Or you lived in an apartment building?
No, it would have been a house turned into an apartment.
Okay, that's how I pictured the whole neighborhood.
Yes. They kicked the door open and went to the second floor to find another locked door. Oh, you don't want to make those Somerset cops mad. Another door? Police were able to remove the pins from the door when they found Har at the top of the set of stairs. Police ordered him to the ground with the guns drawn. He complied, was taken into custody without incident. I don't understand the taking the pins out of the door. I mean, they might have a contraption, but it's not like cops see a second door and go, but the architecture, I must respect it.
Well, anyway. I think New York cops are, or cops in general sound like they love the breaking down of doors. So for them to detach the screws, is that what they're doing?
Supposedly, yeah.
It's very nice. And also at first I was thinking, wow, a sword, that's got to be drugs. But then guns drawn and the guy puts it down. That means you can get into your right mind, which drugs doesn't allow that willy-nilly. And it also doesn't mean a break in psychosis for a long time because he put it down, which means this man just got a level of angry for a while to take out a sword and threaten. This sounds like love.
Right.
Am I right?
Well, there's 3 people he was in love with. That can create a mess. Look,
your neighborhood became progressive.
We all need something to take the edge off. And I got something for you. It's legal and it doesn't cause you to pick up swords. Feels, Feals. It's CBD. You've heard about CBD. Feels is a premium CBD that'll help you clear your head and feel your best. It's hassle-free. It's delivered directly to your door. It helps reduce stress, anxiety, pain, sleeplessness, no hangover, no addiction. You place a few drops of Feels under your tongue and you feel the difference within minutes. The thing to remember about CBD is you got to find the right dose. Oh, great. What do? I take a college class for that? No. They offer a free CBD hotline to help guide your personal experience. So you'll find your perfect dose. The Feels customer service team is dedicated to make sure you get the best use out of your CBD. Name anything else that you can't do that with the multivitamins. I'm going to call this is great. Start feeling better with Feels. Become a member today by going to Feels, FEALS.com/KATG. Get 50% off your first order with free shipping. That's FEALS.com/KATG. To become a member and get 50% automatically taken off your first order with free shipping. Feels.com/KATG. You're welcome.
And I don't know if people know CBD is the part of the cannabis that doesn't make you high.
Right.
So it has the benefits that you hear people talking about, but it's the part that doesn't make you high. I think that's important.
It is, because I take CBD. I drive tractors all over the place. You can still live your life, but you're not dealing with that pain and anxiety. It's a wonder thing. It's a wonder thing. Today's guest. It's Been way too long. In fact, I just listened to when he was on Keith and the Girl before, and he's so fucking funny. The YouTube is you can see the video. It's number 2574 called Bring Wine. Highly recommended by me.
And here's what I love. Okay, so I listened to the show, and then like 3/4 of the way in, I see the title again. I'm like, oh, that's why we called it that. This is so funny.
Yeah. He had an uncle that taught him about condoms by covering up wine bottles. He was 12. He's been a writer for BET, Netflix. He's been featured on Stars and Viceland. Alex English. Hello, Alex.
Hello, Keith. Hello, Kimda. Hi, friends. It's been far too long.
It's been far too long.
You know, I said this during the mic check. It's been so long that you actually look more grown. And I felt weird saying that because we talked to you as a grown adult before, and you are still an adult, but you look different.
You know, thank you. I mean, you know, life has weathered me, you know, the past 4 years has weathered me. You know what? I thought about like how long it's been since I was on here, and it was, okay, let's just say give or take, it's been 4 years, right? So I just envision like this, some fan, my imagination just went to like some fan of yours watched the Bring Wine episode and then got sentenced to 4 years in prison. And then, so has no connection to the podcast. And then somehow he got out this year, and he logs in and is watching this on YouTube or listens later. And he's like, the band they never broke up.
That's awesome.
They're still kicking
it. You truly believe that the simulation is about you. That is the most egotistical sentence for anybody. That's amazing.
I believe that one person.
What if Jesus died? It was right at my conception, and then he comes back.
Yes.
And it's the conception of my great grandkid. Like, whoa.
Well, let's say there's some kind of fuck up and our website isn't accessible for a day. I'm like, great. This is the day Steven Spielberg was checking it out. Of course it is. Of course it's today.
And by the way, that reference of Steven Spielberg specifically has been Keith's reference in that scenario since I met him. He's like, I treat every open mic like Steven Spielberg is coming in. Yeah. And I'm like, you know, it didn't dawn on me until later, like, Steven Spielberg will see you at this open mic telling jokes, and he's going to make you the next, like, what?
He loves comedy. You see E.T.? He loves it.
Stranger things have happened, you know? Stranger things have happened. I don't leave anything. Anything is possible. And I believe that. I actually bumped into him at SNL once.
See?
And I also, I mean, you would find him there. I don't know, give or take. I think if you asked him, do you want to go to this open mic or do you want to go to SNL? What is Steven Spielberg going to say? You know, maybe he's in the spirit. Maybe he's in the spirit. Maybe you might catch him in the spirit of like, oh, let me go see who's the next big thing. You know,
right?
That could be the vibes he's on also.
Look at these two with their positive vibrations.
You have to. You
must have a penis, right? Both of you. I don't want to, you know, ask too much of a.
It's been a wild 4 years, friend. I'll just say that. It's been a wild 4 years.
Oh.
Whenever we talk to you, you tend to ask this based on things you were saying about sex not being your highest interest. Asked if you're asexual. But what I'm hearing now from you, you're A+ sexual. How's it going out there?
Listen, as you grow older, you know, you say things, you look back on the things you said and you're like, what the fuck were you talking about? You know,
you love
if I could have spoken to my 27-year-old self, I guess that's when I was, I forget. 20, how old am I? I don't know. Listen, those who know my antics lately know that is not something that
you're having a good time.
I could say that Keith, it does not apply. The words of my past do not apply to the present.
Good for you.
And that's what I said.
And I heard in recent stand-up, I mean, you'll have sex with, you know, the whole rainbow. But when it comes to white people,
that's right.
You're not going to take it from the back. That's too much. You can't have everything white people, right?
You know, I just have to, you know, I'm usually not political with my
penis,
with my sex, you know, with my body. But you know, The country is just in too much turmoil right now. There's just too much tension. Right. And I believe that, my body is not a temple. It is a civil rights. It's a bus pre-civil rights.
Yeah. I mean, everybody's out there fighting. And then here you are, you're going to set us back a couple years. No.
Right. Black men in this country have we've made too many strides for me to, no.
You talked about,
I'll be back though. I'll be back.
I'll be back. Okay. It's just right now.
This is temporary. This is temporary.
It seems like every 5 years, right?
Whenever Black Lives Matter for a little bit, he puts a timeout on the white guys. I get it. Okay.
If the cops stop shooting us in the back, white men can start breaking mine. Yeah.
Start shooting on your back. Right.
That's my new motto. That's my new motto. Heard here first.
You talked about your mom who would rather your mom's still around?
I'm in her home.
Oh, okay. Okay. So we can talk to her for a second. So she may actually, but I'm like literally like paranoid, hoping that she don't walk in behind both of them. It's their anniversary. It's my parents' anniversary. So I'm here for their party that they're having. So like, I kicked them out. I was like, y'all go do stuff, like whatever. Go fuck in the park or something. I need the kitchen. Your mom was, she was real saddened some time ago about you being gay. She wanted to understand, well, are you at least the man in the man-man relationship, or you're not the woman in the man-man relationship, I hope. She did an intervention, or tried to, by taking you to a famous pastor, Marvin Winans, right?
Yes, correct.
And you said how, you know what? Okay, you wanna try to get me to say stuff? I'm gonna say why I think this is me, and it felt good for you to do that. Has she come around, or is she still hoping it's a phase? It's a 20-some year phase.
She is beginning to come around, and now I'm kind of wishing she would revert back.
Because why? Because she's like, how about this guy? How about this guy?
The question now is just like, why am I single? It's like she's digging for information. She wants to know, well, since you like men, why can't you get one?
Right.
So she's getting very comfortable. I did catch her at one point trying to recap and discuss a Real Housewives episode, and I was like, that's not what we're doing.
Was that for you?
Oh, she was thinking a gay man might like to Desperate Housewives.
It's very clumsy. It's a very clumsy acceptance. And I'm just kind of like, you know what? No, I'm not even going to give you this. I'm not giving you this because you don't really want to do this. You know, I don't think so we're just going to listen. But I think that's just my roundabout way of saying, look, I may be this thing that you weren't expecting. I may not be everything, but you don't assign what you think I like to that.
Right.
I think,
and we've come a long way from that though. We talk, we have honest discussions. I stopped using they, them in my descriptions. One day I called my mother with advice about someone that I was dating. And I kept saying, they, this, and I was avoiding saying he out of habit for myself. And eventually she just stopped the conversation and said, he, right? And I was like, oh, is that what we're doing? Oh, okay. I didn't know we were, okay. He, yeah. So that's cool. That's cool. That's a cool part of it. But
I think that's huge. It's
better. Yeah.
It's weird to like praise and celebrate those little things, but the journey that somebody has to take sometimes when they use that pronoun or when they're, trying in these many ways. The problem is the old school minds, when they hear that you're this one thing that they didn't expect, everything you do is on that spectrum. And it's like, this is just one part of my life. Like, I don't do everything gay now. Like that's,
yeah.
And it makes me feel like our parents think too much about our sex when we tell them things like that. Like now they're picturing us having sex all the time.
And it's also that they like I said, like, whatever they have seen, whatever media they consume that gives them the picture of what a gay man is or what his lifestyle is, that's when it becomes like, oh, well, you don't really listen. I haven't lost who I am. I'm still the young boy. I just happen to other, you know what I think? I'm just like, yeah, I still like sports. And I think, and I still want to do all those things. So like, my mom is like, oh, okay, I thought you just gave that up. Like how you gave up every sport you tried to play, Right. So it was like, okay, no, it's not that deep. But I think my mother is slowly understanding that her son is gay, but he's still a dirtbag. And that makes me happier than.
And that is why you're single and she could stop asking.
And it makes all sense. But we did have the child discussion. We did have children. The first time ever she asked, well, this is the second time actually, that she asked if I were going to have children. This was a discussion that took place over pancakes.
Okay.
And it was very honest. I told her like, sure. But I'm not ready. Yeah. Pass the bacon. Yeah.
It's funny she found solace in sports. All dudes, you guys slap ass hello. But okay, at least, I guess you grab onto whatever you can. I don't know. Everything I do is straight though. When I watch Desperate Housewives, I manspread, so I don't know. Are you bringing a guy to this party that we're talking about?
Oh, no.
Okay. We're not there yet. Right.
Well, I've always kind of been very like careful of like even bringing guys around friends because I'm very particular about what kind of person that I'm seeing I have amongst people that I love and that I hold near to me, because you never want to get people too comfortable with someone when they got one foot out the door already in your mind, so I'm always trying to be very honest about that. But I've been doing more of that, not family, but more friends. I've been introducing guys. I've been more intentional with, trying to like bring them into my life and show them, what's going on. But, just recently, it's just been like, oh, a few months in, and then I got to have a talk with the guys like, well, it looks like, I'm back in these streets. That's what we call it.
Mm-hmm. Is that how you break up with someone?
Oh, well, not him. I'm talking to the friends. Like, yeah.
Oh, I see.
Where are you going?
I mean, I've wanted to
out in those streets. Like,
I've wanted to do that. I've wanted to say that before. I was like, I'm back in these streets, y'all. But that is the code. That is the code that my friends and I use when we are no longer with the person that we were loving on.
What was your longest relationship in the last 4 years?
Wow, I mean, both of them, both of these situations lasted about the same amount of time, actually, and in the same time.
6 to 9 months.
No, they were more about 4 months. Yeah,
spring to summer.
Late spring, early end of the summer. Like later, beginning of the end of the summer.
Mm.
Yeah.
What creepy when
so
she
just summer
that?
Fling. Yeah, you were spot on.
It started like the first date was around noon.
Yeah.
So what were you, it sounded like you were in love.
The first one, no. The second, getting there, but not.
Did anyone say I love you?
No one. Did you look googly and gazy in each other's eyes like you're about to say it, but nobody wanted to say it? The second one more than the first.
Okay, totally not in love. All right. I forgot that if men don't say it, it doesn't exist. I'm sorry. That's my bad.
This is new territory for me. I haven't really. I mean, I count my exes from college, the ones that I had. I count those, but I'm just in a different. I'm in a different phase of my life. I'm an adult now.
Then so what broke you guys up in both relationships?
Well, the first one, I did not feel like I was being heard.
Okay.
And I also could have done a better job in hindsight, being more communicative of both that and the fact that I was losing attraction. If you like,
I don't think you need to communicate that. It was over in 4 months. You had a good time.
Right.
It's
that's according to him. That is what led to the end, was that he felt as though I was not attracted anymore, and he wasn't wrong.
All right,
and I think that though, there's only what I learned from that situation was that there's only so long you can play the whole, well, I only have sex with people that I really see a future with, and I don't want to jump too quick and say, you can only do that for so long until people these days are like, look, do you want this or not? And I was really playing that card for a very long time because I wanted to see maybe if something would change. And that was my mistake.
Oh, so he's like good on paper, but you just
very good on paper.
Okay.
Very good on paper. But there were areas where I felt like, hey, I'm loud. I know I'm pretty loud. Like, do you hear me, right? Am I being heard? Am I being clear? And every time he'd say yes, but then actions would prove otherwise.
Okay.
So,
this second relationship already sounds better. What broke that up?
What a breath of fresh air. I mean, timing. It's just, and this was actually more recent. It's just, timing. Timing is like what I learned from this is that you meet people where they are in life and you have no control over that.
Well, is this guy young? What's happening? Or are you the young
Considerably.
one?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm 32
mm-hmm.
and he is 27.
You guys are the same age. I don't know how to break it to you.
Well, I don't know. Look, listen. The way he lives his life, I was just very disconnected. Like, we would have music discussions sometimes, and I would make reference to someone, and he'd be like, "I have no idea who you're talking about."
Like you're bringing up Otis Redding or something. how crazy do you get?
let me think. What is someone? Who is?
Does he not know who Kanye is? What could be the problem?
No. It's. I would like make reference to someone very popular in the '90s, and like a think of an R&B artist with like a.
Tony Braxton.
I was just gonna say Tony Braxton.
Okay.
What is going on with you today? Because you are like literally pulling it out of me. Yeah, Tony Braxton. And like I don't know if that's but he would kind of be like that. That's the range.
Okay, this is not the real reason. What's the real?
Well, no. See, when I say meeting someone in their part in their life, I don't necessarily mean age. I just mean like what their situation was. He had just gotten out of a long-term relationship when we met. Well, when we met was a year ago during the pandemic on the internet, a very friendly like exchange, then some DMs, but then I discovered that there was a boyfriend.
Mm-hmm.
So I am not.
How did you discover it?
I mean, you do enough scrolling and you kind of catch on.
So he didn't tell you.
One would say he did not.
One would, maybe many would. How many?
No. This one would say that he did not. He didn't owe me. He didn't owe me that because we were not having discussions that were deeply like romantic yet.
Via DM to a stranger, where that is literally flirting. The joke of eggplants in a. Oh, but maybe he doesn't know that because he's so young. Oh,
it would never go that far.
Like this guy.
Aww. It would never go that far, though. I would say it was pretty tepid. It was pretty tepid. But I backed off, and so did he. We both kind of just the communication stopped, right? So then earlier this year, all systems kind of were like reignited, and that situation was over with. Apparently,
who told you that?
He did.
Oh, did he? Why?
On the first date.
Why? How is that important to you?
Right.
Well, because we had started to speak about linking up and being together. But I hadn't spoken to him in months. Like we had not even spoken, so I didn't know what was going on. But we still kept it very like light. I never intruded or never inserted myself in between. I don't do that at all. But I saw the door open and I ran in. And I mean, it's been a great spring, summer, but he's moving and he's going through a lot of like young things. He's a very successful.
Let me say something. If I may.
He travels.
I think I'm going to stick with chicks.
Fuck you, Keith.
Wow.
I don't know what's going on. That's all.
Like all of us.
Oh, okay.
Sweeping, shitty thing to say.
I remember that when I read on Twitter how bad men are. Okay. Like, I know I can't say I'm lucky.
I'll say these have been very like. I just been learning a lot about what how I am in a relationship now, and it's been cool. you know, I thought up until this point, I thought I couldn't date anybody and it was just going to be like casual from here on out. But it's been, it's been pretty decent.
In the beginning of the relationship, was he very like into everything and loving and like over the top sweet? Like, wow, he can't believe what Alex English is. Wow, is this you? Who's better than you? Any of that?
I can say that was definitely the vibe across the board on both sides of the street. We were both very impressed with one another, both very, we had schedules that complemented one another. So there was ample time to see each other. We made time for that. Physically, you really couldn't pry us apart. I'd say even though that we broke things off, we still talk. We still speak, we still text. I know he's going off to like live in other countries and do the whole thing that you do when you're that guy in his 20s with a career that he has and just, so it was nice. It was very nice. But now, the first one was Filipino. He was white. It's time to come back to the community. It's time to it's time to come back home.
I didn't know that was the lesson, but
that's why I came to Detroit. I was like, okay, I got to get back to what I know. Like it's because for the longest, in the beginning of my stay in New York, I was not hooking up with white men. I was like, nah, I'm from Detroit, so very black. My community is very black.
How long have you been back in Detroit?
I've been back since since Wednesday.
Oh, okay. Did you hook up yet?
No, but there's an old crush. There's an old crush who's been kind of circling the block. So we'll see about that.
All right, good.
But no,
luck,
I've been. Yeah, but as when I got to New York, I wasn't doing white guys. I was like, no, we're not there yet.
Right.
The most I was doing when I first moved to New York outside of black was Latino, like Hispanic. Like I was like, well, at least they kind of look like us. Like I was really like getting my way. It also helped that I was living in the Bronx, so I was like, okay, there's access to that. Yeah, but it like only recently, like within the last 2.5, 3 years, have I had white men in like my rotation, and it's been.
How many
nice.
people in your rotation now? He has to count. He's when
I think about rotation, who have I recently? Maybe just 2.
Okay,
just 2. And this pandemic, so I thought that I was going to be one of these people. I didn't know that I was going to be as, I didn't know I was going to be as busy as I've
sexually
been in life.
Okay. Okay. You're pausing in that pause. I'm like, what doesn't he want to say? Could it be
it's
sexual?
It hasn't really necessarily been sexual. I've just been kind of putting myself in front of people.
All right, we'll get to it.
I've been putting myself in front of people because I don't like the apps. I like to meet people in person.
No, pandemic.
So when you say rotation, I mean, there have been a lot of people putting their numbers in my phone, and I'm like, having text exchange. It could be anybody. I've been very loose with, here, take my phone and do whatever. Give it to me if you want. And just move to the next guy. Move to the next guy.
I like how I'm getting the vibe that you're not supposed to, in the beginning, be too nice to the person you're interested in. And that's the way I play. I'm very aloof. They're like, where do you want to go? I go, who gives a fuck? I'm barely here as it is, and then they can be comfortable that I'm not too much. When I was listening to the show you were on, this was trippy to me because my mom now, she's dementia ridden. She literally can't talk. It's laughter that you can't tell if she's really laughing or it's nervous laughter at this point. But 4 years ago, I brought up how my mom at the time finally was saying, hey, when are you going to have stepkids? When am I, excuse me, not stepkids. When am I, which is weird because my girlfriend has kids. No, that was a slip of the tongue. When am I going to have grandkids? When are you going to have kids? And she hadn't asked that most of my life, and you hear other people, they're asked that all the time. Yeah. And at the time I said, oh, Mom, do you know what you're asking? Implying you're asking, am I going to fuck more? And she goes, yeah, I know exactly what I'm asking. Should I hang up now so you can get to it? I was like, well, I just got, I have 2 dogs now. You know, I'd like to keep my kid's face. And she's like, they'll be fine. Dogs understand. And looking back, that's when her dementia started to kick in. She lost, seriously, she lost the ability to know what to say and what not to say.
Filters.
Yeah. And she's just like, no, I want grandkids. And now I'm asking because my brain's going.
It almost felt like that discussion with her triggered it. You know, that's how I read it when you said it. So don't forgive me. I started laughing. I was like, oh, do you think that's what the catalyst was? No, wow.
Yeah.
Well, you know what?
Keith not giving her grandkids is what gave her Alzheimer's. Oh, my mother would love to know that could happen so she could throw that in my face.
Specifically, Keith not fucking is what triggered it.
Right.
Specifically that.
What did I write?
A mother knows. It's a mother knows. Yeah.
Should I bring 2 borrowed children to the assisted living place and act like those are my kids? Was it cruel because it's messing with her brain, or sweet because she'll never know and just be happy for a day? Maybe her speech comes back.
It sounds like such a great idea. It's going to be a waste of time because even if it does do something, it'll go away 5 seconds later and you'll have to re-explain. So, I mean, I guess it's a little easy because you're only training the kids to have one line and then your mom will keep repeating that whole thing.
Right.
So they could practice their lines if they're actors.
Why eat cake? You have to have it again tomorrow. You know, make her happy for a minute. You know,
you just made me really happy, Keith, with the idea that when my mother asked that question, she's not asking about my sex because she knows precisely why or how that would happen. She has to literally, she has to be like, well, how are you going to do that? You know, there has to be a part 2 to the question.
Does she hear your stand-up? Does she hear your jokes about?
She came to a show.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Would she hear, you know, if I date a white guy, I'm going to be on top all the time out of principle. And now she's trying to hook you up with white guys. Like, all right, I'll take this.
I would love to know what kind of white men my mother would have lined up for me. That would be a hilarious video that I think I want to film.
Right.
Do you think your parents
pick a white man for me?
Do you think your mom cares about the race or religious background of the person you date?
I don't know about religious background so much as, well, I will say when my mother came to visit New York City during Mother's Day this past May, and we went out for lunch and we were discussing second guy, and she did she ask? I forget. Did she ask if he was Black? I think she may have asked because I did not mention it at the top. So she was like, I believe like she like stopped eating her macaroni and cheese and she was like, is he Black? And I was like, he white.
I wonder if there was a trigger because it's like, and then, you know,
she didn't seem to.
And then he passed the mayo, and what happened next was weird. Wait. Is he white?
What if I didn't answer at all? I just gave her mayonnaise for her burger or whatever she had, just like here. Like, so I didn't ask for mayonnaise. I'm like, well, there's your answer to your question. I won't say it. No, you know what? She didn't have any really like visceral response. She was like, oh, okay. You know, in my mind, I'm thinking that in her head, she was like, I mean, you couldn't listen to one thing I said too. like first, I mean, the boy thing, okay, I had to get over that. But now, like, oh God, what am I doing? Who did I raise?
You have a joke about somebody you dated realized that they're a transgender person, and you go, in one instance I heard it's like, you broke up with me, now you're your best self. In another instance, you cheated on me, now you're your best self. Is it one of these two dudes? Or you know what I mean?
I'm
one of these two people.
Watch. No.
Right. I'm learning.
Those two in the past are dudes. Last time I checked.
Right.
But this is someone from my past.
Okay.
This is Detroit. This is pre New York City. You know, that writing of that joke I believe that it hits harder when I do it on stage when I say that they cheated. I mean, they did both. Broke up and cheated. So they're both true. But when I say cheat, there's like a yay, I am making myself the hero there. You know, where it's like, oh yeah, like feel bad because this is my heart was broken. You know, fuck them, okay? Not fuck them. That's make sure that you are clear with that. So I'm gonna go off here. You know, I mean, you know what, Keith? I've done that joke in front of so many audiences, and the best response I ever got was afterwards. These 3 transgender women came up and hugged me very tight.
All right. Like, I'm sorry one of us let you down. We're not pieces of shit.
They were floored. They were like, oh wow, you were trying it in the beginning with that, but then it all came around. I was like, yeah.
How did you find out that person was cheating?
Oh, it didn't take much. You know, it's a phone call. It's gossip. It's phone calls. You know, it's mess. It's pure and utter mess.
What if you use creative license and have that person have killed your dog? Why not? Why not throw that in? I mean, you know, like this cheating worked real well. Also, he's a fucking animal killer. Or she.
Well, then I don't need PETA coming after a trans woman. You know, we can't have that technically.
Okay, we're still proud of her.
But chances are, if you throw red paint on her, she would love it. She would feel like she's the belle of the ball. Knowing her, she'd embrace it. She'd embrace the red paint, honestly, because she's that extra.
I have some stories here that I want to give you some updates on. People are asking some personal stuff and some news stories that we covered fairly recently. First of all, I mentioned how there was a Vulture article about the dad emails. You can check out the whole saga at keithandthegirl.com/dad, D-A-D. And that's where my dad wrote to my ex-wife behind my back after our divorce. And then my ex-wife gives me that email, goes, what is this? Can I get out of your life already? And I go, yes. Can I pretend I'm you? She's already driving away. And I'm like, that's a yes, as far as I'm concerned. So I started catfishing my dad, acting like I was my ex, and he started hitting on me. So that becomes a Vulture article. Your face is right, Alex. And you did hear correctly. And I sent that article the other day to my dad from the fake email that Kat's been using in the first place, and said, I was afraid something like this would happen. Here's a link. Love, Kat. People are asking, did I get a response? I did not. And I was hoping I would. I wouldn't have been, but I wouldn't be surprised either way. And now that so much time has went by and he was able to control himself, I don't believe he's going to write.
What do you think happened? Do you think that he was like, oh, if I click on this link, I'm going to get a virus? And that's sort of how, like, maybe he saw dad emails and a little hint and convinced himself that this is a bad link, or maybe clicked on it.
No, I don't think it's I think you're reaching on that. I think he clicked on it.
You think he clicked on it?
Yeah, I do think he clicked on it.
Do you think he read it?
It starts pretty quickly. Yeah. You know, with his name. Yeah, I do.
Huh.
Also, he's more prone to read emails that address him, like, personally.
If it's about him, he needs to know.
Okay.
That's like most people, but yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
He wouldn't be able to sleep going, nice try, not again. He's gonna at least read what it is. Yeah.
Okay. I have a weird, yucky question.
Can it get weirder and yuckier?
Did it give him a heart attack? Is he dead? Have you heard? Has anyone heard from him?
He is. Yes, he was just yelling at one of my brothers, saying that he hoards too much things. Which is
that fact?
No, it's a weird thing that doesn't really make sense. My dad threw out a lot of stuff because he's, my mom's in a different place now, so he assumes everybody has too much stuff now.
Wow. Okay, I really thought he was dead, but this man will not die.
But that is funny. You put my dad's death under yucky news.
I
don't want to be yucky. Are your parents dead?
Well, I know you want the book to come out before he dies.
Sure, I want to be respectful. So I'm thinking I sent him another email that says, good day, sir. This is the police. Would you like us to arrest your son? As a father, you have that right. As proof, it's me. Feel free to Google police badges. But I'll probably just...
No, you can't. Okay, you didn't send that?
I did not. No.
Don't impersonate the police, please.
I am... Okay.
Don't. Don't.
I would second that.
Yeah.
I would second that. Yeah.
Don't. In fact, like any authority where you can look up your license number, don't impersonate any of those people.
How about if I say I'm the president?
That has some satire to it, I guess.
All right.
I don't know.
All right.
But wow. But what a great idea. At first I was like, that's genius. And then I was like, Keith is going to jail.
Yeah. So so I'd like to think he's smart enough to know, wait, this is definitely not Kat. This is the email from before. So he's not going to write to that. He's not going to write me to encourage me. And he's not going to write the kids because he definitely doesn't want them to read this article.
Meaning your siblings.
My siblings, right?
Yeah, I would guess that he doesn't want to write you just in case the email from Kat is, let's say, obviously not from Kat, but from some other person. Now he's picking which one of his children is fucking with him. It could be any one of you. How does he know which one to fuck with? It's
funny now when like he says something silly like, oh, I found a place in an article for me to live. So I'm wiring them money right away. And then someone will say, well, this is a horrible idea. How about we look into this place first? And then, so he'll be challenged and then says, how do I know it's really you and not Keith? Like that's a go-to now. If you challenge him on anything, well, this must be a setup.
Yeah. Okay. So this is what I think happened then. You are such a trickster, Keith, that you could be any one of your siblings. You could be anyone corresponding with him.
Right.
You could have created this vulture article and you're full of shit because you have had websites. You have had websites with text on them, with your story, with your family story, with your book, like all of that stuff. So I'm going to guess in order to chase this away from his crazy mind that he's reading something that you wrote that you set up. And who cares? Because you're an asshole.
You would still care.
Well,
it's still going on and he's not done with it. And I was hoping it would stop.
But he's managed to shoo all of that away. I'm trying to think of like how he can shoo it away and not have a response. And still, because I think his whole thought process is how can I be right and how can I be good? And he'll just like change his thought process to whatever he just did is right and good in this way. So he can continue being this weird, pious, awesome human being.
Yes, I'm sure he saw the article and started whistling Dixie and started making a peanut butter. He's thrilled. Well,
I think he convinces himself that he's a good person. And I'm trying to think how he can do it here.
So anybody thinking I'm too cruel, don't worry. He's fine.
That's true. He's always fine.
Don't worry.
And also having a heart attack. It's very interesting.
Henda thought he was dead, but apparently now believes he's fine. Okay. That was a busy 2 minutes we just had. I have an update on the fish story. My stepson, 13 years old, went away on a couple trips. He was gone for several weeks. During that time, he had 2 turtles. One of the turtles died. They were baby turtles that I found out later, trying to replace one that died, are so baby they're illegal. They were. He was walking around with his mom in Chinatown one time. They were selling them. They didn't think anything of it and bought one. I go to Petco going, hey, can I replace this turtle? They're like, those turtles are illegal. You have to get a big size turtle. I'm like, well, he's going to know if I replace that.
Yeah.
So we have to tell him the truth on that. But then also one of his fish died, beta fish, if anybody knows about that. And that would be like a lot for this kid. I don't know how sensitive he is, but he would be devastated. All these things are dying. So I'm thinking, all right, I can replace that fish. So I go to replace that fish with a fairly close copy as far as the mom remembered. Then that fish
remembered, it's in front of you. Nobody took a picture.
It got sucked up in a filter and the mom just remembers the color.
Right.
Yeah. Oh, so then we get another fish that we think looks kind of like it. Put that in. That died 2 days later. Yeah. Then we should go back to Petco.
What is this death trap?
now I have a monthly membership and everything.
Yeah.
And we have to pick another fish, but now it's a copy of a copy of a copy. It's not looking real close, Yeah. They're not stocked up for me. So then I put in this third fish with different fins in the tank. Not the right kind of purple, I'm sure.
At this point, you have to be hoping that he can tell the difference so that you can see. Oh,
respect him, so I can respect him. So Benny comes back. So the total fish he has, one fish tank has one turtle in it. Another fish tank has what's called glowfish. It's like goldfish, but they kind of glow, real tiny. And then another fish tank has this betta fish. When he came home, we're waiting for him to see the fish. If he doesn't say the betta fish, if he doesn't say anything, we'll let it go. If he says something, we'll tell him right away. He sees the glowfish first and says, one of the glowfish is missing. There were 3, not 2. We go, no, there's 2. There was always 2. There were, and he goes, no, there was 3. I know my fish. So now we're being blamed for a fish that was never there.
Yeah, you've got an accountant on your hand.
Yeah. Then he goes into his bedroom where the betta fish is.
You're being audited.
You're being audited for your fish. Yeah, exactly.
He goes and sees the betta fish. Nothing, no problem. But he knows his fish, and you just want to grab him. You don't know your fish. Just take his head, tank by tank. You had 2 fish here. This one isn't even close to your fish. What are you arguing about? You don't know your fish. If I put an alligator in here, you wouldn't know it. You're making up dead fish. And obviously this fish is different. What would happen if I looked at the betta fish and went, is this different? I'm so curious.
Now you'll never know because you decided to lie to the child. So now you're fucked. Now he can lie to you as much as you want, as much as he wants, because you can't go, here's what the truth is. Because that means you lied.
Yeah, I really care about a 13-year-old's truth. But okay, another problem I have.
Who's the stepdad now?
Right.
Well, I'll say, I recall reading very recently that fish who are like goldfish or like fish who are kept in like household fish tanks become depressed inside of
and kill themselves.
The fish tanks and kill themselves. Yeah.
Oh, I was joking.
I didn't. No, what I read was, I remember reading this just maybe a month ago. I don't know how I stumbled. Don't ask me how I stumbled upon this literature, but
you might ask yourself that. Who wrote this? How did we discover what fish feel of all the small brains in the world?
Because they see like they're in an ecosystem that isn't like the wild seas or like the lakes or wherever they would live. They see the end like on the threshold.
Oh, so just regular logic of nobody likes to be caged in their not world.
Hey.
I believe this type of fish is like a fighting fish, and it has to be by itself. That's what I understood. I didn't look it up, but anyway, the point is now if anything happens to the fish, we could just say he's crazy.
Yeah.
Oh, everyone wins.
Yeah, no problems there. This is
what
fantastic.
A good lesson from this fucking crazy story. I bet you can't wait until he turns like what, 18, 20, 25. And you're like, here's what really happened with the fish. Okay. Now I win every argument for the next year. Come back to me after that with a clean slate.
Of course. Of course. Some news updates. Mike Richards is the executive producer of Jeopardy. If you recall, he said, hey, I put, all these different celebrities to be the host, try them out. It was a big hit. And I went through everybody to see who's the best. And it turns out it's the week when I hosted. And so I decided I'm going to hire me. And I want LeVar Burton to know he did do an excellent job. And if for some reason I can't do it, I'd love for him to follow through. And if I'm not pleased with my work ethic, I'll fire me. I got a feeling I'll be pleased. But LeVar, just so you know, if I'm never not pleased, then you'll be right there. Well, Mike Richards got in trouble because of an old podcast he had, among other things. I'll fill you in here. Let's see. He was officially named Alex Trebek's successor last week. He has an old podcast. It was called The Random Show, like the random show, but random. Now, right there should be enough.
Talk about foreshadowing.
Right. Some article called, or some company called The Ringer, showed segments of his podcast where he repeatedly used offensive language and disparaged women's bodies. Now, it's not the worst thing we've ever heard, but he uses the M word for little people. People are saying it's too much. He says one-piece bathing suits make women look like fat pigs. He calls models booth sluts. So it's really at that level, however bad you think that is. So he had to
so corny.
Yes.
And dismissive and rude. But when was this? A recent?
No, in 2014. So this is a while ago.
Okay.
He complained that one-piece bathing suits made women look really frumpy and overweight. He also repeatedly used the derogatory slur for little people in talking about Christian Chenoweth, and made an anti-Semitic remark about big noses. He doesn't like them. The archives of the podcast were scrubbed from the internet after The Ringer reached out for comment. Close. For comment.
They went to war?
Yeah, it is humbling to confront a terribly embarrassing moment of misjudgment, he said. Thoughtlessness and insensitivity from nearly a decade ago. Looking back now, there's no excuse, of course, for the comments I made on this podcast, and I am deeply sorry. The podcast was intended to be a series of irreverent conversations between longtime friends who had a history of joking around. Even with the passage of time, it's more than clear that my attempts to be funny and provocative were not acceptable, and I've removed the episodes. My responsibilities today as a father, husband, and a public personality who speaks to many people through my role on television means I have substantial and serious obligations as a role model, and I intend to live up to them. After being named the new Jeopardy host, Richards offered staff his first apology, which was for 2 discrimination lawsuits from his time at The Price is Right. Richards wrote them off as, quote, employment disputes.
He's just on the game. He's just on random game shows, just being terrible on each stop. Wait, but it's like, first of all, my job to be a role model. Dude, I didn't know who the fuck you were before this job was announced. What are you talking about? And, you know, what a bad 15 years for this name, you know, Mike Richards, you know?
Right.
That name is really going 0-2 within the past like 10 to 15 year block. Because truly, when I read that name, I'm like, wait, I didn't even know the news surrounding Jeopardy like that. So when I heard Mike Richards, I was like, wait, the motherfucker from Seinfeld was getting ready to host Jeopardy.
Hey, you know, Michael Richards checks Twitter and he's like, trending #1. What the fuck?
Yeah, I thought it was about the Seinfeld guy also when I first saw that it was trending.
I didn't even know who that man was.
I think it just sounds like he's a terrible host. You're saying M word for little people? I'm sorry. Are you saying midgets?
That's what I assume. That's what I
assume.
At
first I thought you said N word, Keith. And I was like, he was out here calling little people niggas? What?
Right. You're like, Keith, I want to tell you something. Right. It's not about little people.
I don't remember that being a bad word, like a non-used word.
I think it's just adding to the list. I think it's saying, listen to these things he did and said, and here's a couple.
It sounds like he is just really not funny, and that would make me not want him to host the show. It sounds like he's a bad host. He pulls from like low-hanging shitty jokes, old, like, this is all you are, like, yeah, you're a female, yeah, you're whatever. It's probably worse than that. I know I'm spinning it like to be a little nice. It's probably worse than that, because if you're, and he's like, oh, it's with old friends, meaning like, this is how we normally talk. And it just sounds boring. And I get that on Jeopardy, you're just reading the questions and answers. But if we're talking about having a personality to host a show, this would tell me you don't have the personality to do that. Unless you're saying this show is just about reading and literally anybody can do that.
Well, I remember Alex Trebek. I mean, who doesn't? When he interviews these geniuses, he doesn't really have time for them. It's like, I collect dice from all around the world, Alex, and my favorite dice is 12-sided dice. So nerd shit. Okay, next contestant.
But that's the thing. That's the tone of the show. I think a person who jokes like that is going to bring a different tone to the show that I don't think people want. I think you want that boring conversation, not trying to be edgy, not trying to have like the big quip that is like, oh dear, he said that, but we're still safe. Like, that's not Jeopardy.
Mm-hmm.
Dear team, he wrote today, it pains me that these past incidents and comments have cast such a shadow on Jeopardy as we look to start a new chapter.
I'm sorry that it pains you. It pains me. In what? Okay. Has he ever said, he said he's married and whatever. Has he ever said to his wife, like, it pains me? And the words following that was like, that I hurt you when I cheated on you. When does it really pain a human where they start talking in these fucking poetic terminology that they wouldn't speak normally? Oh, it pains me, my son, to watch you go through this. Like, shut up.
It pains me to listen to this.
Yeah, it pains me. It's like, oh my God, how many people helped you write this?
It's funny that the game show Jeopardy has an exclamation point at the end of it, right? So anytime he writes it, he adds the exclamation point, and it feels a little forced. To cast such, cast such a shadow
he puts
on
the trademark symbol on the top
in
the corner, just to be sure.
TM.
I didn't mean to cast such a shadow on Jeopardy as we look to start a new chapter. As I mentioned last week, I was deeply honored to be asked to host a syndicated show and was thrilled by the opportunity to expand my role. However, over the last several days, it has become clear that moving forward as host would be too much of a distraction for our fans and not the right move for the show. As such, I will be stepping down as host effective immediately. As a result, we will be canceling production today. They were just about to start. SPT will now resume the search for a permanent syndicated host.
But we already know.
No, we haven't. Well, we got to keep doing. Right. You already know now people like LeVar Burton.
You said.
In the meantime, we will be bringing back guest hosts to continue production for the new season, details of which will be announced next week. So that was such a hit.
Next
having
up,
guest
Bill
host.
Cosby.
Yeah, he's going to keep it going. I want to apologize.
It feels like a ploy. You already did this. You got the guest hosts. What else are you learning?
Right.
We got to do more guest hosts.
Oh, okay. Didn't somebody else just recently step down because he was, quote, a distraction? Is this sort of like a copy paste thing? I feel like there could be an entire book from a few PR agencies that get together and it's like, what did you do? And go to that chapter and pick one of the things and then, insert your slight personal thing in there.
I want to apologize to each of you for the unwanted negative attention that has come to Jeopardy.
Jesus, this apology is long.
Yeah.
This is so long. I forgot what he was apologizing about.
It was, he goes, do you remember what I was apologizing about? Me neither. See you Tuesday.
Jesus Christ, just say sorry and bounce, dog. This story and what he said, like, okay, dude, you weren't really saying anything that worthy of it really wasn't worthy of a long, too long didn't read. Come on, dog. We got things to do.
I apologize to each of you for the unwanted negative attention that has come to Jeopardy over the last few weeks and for the confusion and delays this is now causing. I know I have a lot of work to do to regain your trust and confidence. No one really cares.
No one cares.
Mike, this should be a Snickers commercial, right? Like these models, I call them boot sluts. Some of them are midgets. Mike, have a Snickers. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's better. And that brings us to this. Munk Pack. You guys know Munk Pack. I know what you're thinking. Horrible name, right? Okay. Maybe they thought it was clever. Chipmunk, I don't know. But I do know that it's good and it feels good. Munk Pack Keto Nut and Seed Bars. Munk Pack. What a dumb name. Munk Pack Granola Bars. The name pisses me off. I get mad. I see the Munk Pack I have. It angers me. And then I eat it and I'm like, okay, that calmed me down. Contains 1 gram of sugar or less, 2 to 3 grams of net carbs. They're only 150 calories. Great for anyone following a keto lifestyle and the perfect snack for anyone who's trying to eat better or cut back on sugar and carbs, but not sacrificing taste. Okay? Perfect for a quick snack to satisfy your sweet tooth without guilt. Enjoy Munk Pack Keto Nut and Seed Bars as a quick breakfast while running errands or after a workout. Try it for yourself and you'll see. We have a special deal for you. Get 20% off your first purchase of any Munk Pack product by visiting monkpack.com and enter a code KATG at checkout. And if Google tries to fix the way you spell things, no, do it. Just write and you'll go to the right place. Munk Pack is so confident in their product, it's backed with a 100% satisfaction guarantee. If you don't like it for any reason other than the name, they'll exchange their product or refund your money, whatever you prefer. To get started, go to monkpack.com. That's MUNKPACK.com and select any product. Then enter the code KATG at checkout. Save 20% off your purchase.
Now, you ever heard, don't go food shopping when you're hungry?
Mm-hmm.
You got to carry one of these on you. So you just right before,
yes,
throw it in there. But I say you extend that to everything. Don't do anything hungry. You're an asshole
Yeah.
when you're hungry.
Yeah.
I'm an asshole when I'm hungry. It's my body starts to get irritated. Do not do that to yourself or anybody else. These are simple things that you could throw in your bag and just mellow out and not feel guilty about what you just ate.
This is what Mike Richards should have said. Oh, 2014. I'm very hungry. And everybody would be able to relate. Munk Pack,
Mike
delicious.
definitely need a Munk Pack.
Delicious, nutritious food that you can count on. All right. Thank you, Munk Pack. We appreciate it. All right. Big news. OnlyFans, where you go to whack it, you know?
Yeah.
OnlyFans is banning porn.
Yeah.
Explicit sex stuff, right? Which means you could be a little cute about it if it's like, whoa, what did I do sort of things, right?
The platform will allow you to post nude photos and videos, but not any, quote, sexually explicit conduct.
So now they have to define it, right? Like you touching this part is sex, you touching this part is not sex.
You can't master. You could just do like a selfie at the beach, but you can't have your hand on your dick.
I've been screen recording like nobody's business now, just to keep all the videos that I've adorned. And I know it's not right. I would never post it. You know, I would never post it. It's for my own personal, but listen, I purchased, I'm going to collect.
How many OnlyFans do you subscribe to?
The real question is, how many have I reported for bank fraud? Because some of these people on OnlyFans that are complaining, some of them have the wackest accounts. And so there's only so many times I can call TD Bank and say, hey, take that off of my account. That $7, no.
They're like, thank you, sir. And can I tell you about Pornhub, for God's sake? It only gives you a virus.
Well, they also just took all of they just did a whole clean sweep of their catalog as well. They only allow like official studio content on Pornhub now. So you can't even do like what I like, which is the from the camera phone. You know,
right?
I don't like professional. I like to hear an episode of Family Guy playing in the background. I like to see a McDonald's cup on the floor. You know, it feels like I'm there.
Yeah, I think they get nervous of these kids running into the room, you know, when the parents aren't paying attention. I think that's their big hang up. But
what was your favorite OnlyFans that now is not going to be there?
Okay, there's a gentleman.
Oh, he's a gentleman. Oh, I love when people say lady or gentleman, because you know it's the filthiest thing they're about to say.
And this gentleman rails everything hard as fuck.
No, gets
nice.
Gets railed. Yeah. And just the largest rear end I've seen on the male species. It's lovely. It's a sight to behold, and I would like to behold, but
would you like to shout him out, or because I think he's okay with you telling people about his butt and his dick?
Get the videos while you can. His life's about to change.
I actually don't even know his name.
Wow.
I was literally sitting here trying to think. I'm like, do I remember the handle? I couldn't even tell you the handle up top, honestly.
Awesome.
It's okay. I'll throw him a tip for the shout out.
The joke's on OnlyFans though, because I can whack off to anything.
It's true. I mean, yeah.
I see a drunk guy falling off a boat. I'm like, you know what I mean? Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know what they think people are really jumping to that platform to use it for. I mean, I did read that there were like DJs and people in music
and comedy, but I mean,
I've seen some in comedy do it as well.
But they know it's the porn. It's probably a legal thing that they don't want to have the responsibility for. There's no way people are just opting out of the sex aspect of their platform unless they're getting in trouble or will get in trouble.
They're nervous about investors that are cautious that they might be hosting content containing minors. So they don't.
Their fear.
That's fair.
Yeah,
that's fair. That's a fair reason.
Yeah, nobody takes off sexually explicit content unless like bad things are about to happen.
But you didn't see a comment? No pun?
Yeah, well, right.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
I said no.
It's a bit like, so when you think about it, the adult film industry has always been like $1 million industry, $1 billion. Like there's always been people willing to pay for that. So, I mean, sure. I mean, there's truth to that, Keith. They didn't see this coming. People will obviously pay for pornography. And so, women and men alike, everyone was making money off of this. I saw some people, I was like, oh, I didn't know the pandemic, that platform truly couldn't have come at a more opportune time for people who were looking to make money and who were also willing to like go for sex work. I learned a lot about some people. I was like,
I saw about OnlyFans that they followed a few people around, like, oh, this person is a little more is a little more, I don't want to say prudy, a little more conservative. This person is looking to get a little more sexually open. And there was this woman who she must have been just 20 or something. She seemed really young, and her mom was helping her. And I know people think it's really sweet when people get along with their mothers, and yeah, that's great. But she was like actually making decisions like who she should fuck and how, and like what outfit. They're picking outfits together. And I would like to think that there's a too close. Okay. It's so uncomfortable.
Kendra, I'm just laughing at the way you framed it. You framed it as look, it's really sweet when you get along with your mom, but how sweet is how close is too close? Yeah.
It's too close.
Right. Okay, now flip her over.
Well, I think in some of these,
she's directing traffic.
I think in some of these, she's directing her pictures. She's helping her pick what she has to wear. And now, this woman is considering being with another person in front of a camera because that'll make her more money. And
she's a creative director.
Oh, the mother's just like, I think she's acting like, what? We're in a meeting. It's just a regular meeting. I don't understand why everyone's so prudy. And I'm like, I don't know. Does mom have a friend? Does she talk to anybody else, let alone about this? Or, they're so free and open, but how come neither one of you has any other friends or people in your life? That's weird.
Sydney, not personally probably, but Sydney Leathers. She's the one who got, Anthony did it to himself, but got Anthony Weiner in trouble the first time. When he was being a little perv. She tweeted out, the evangelical women trying to make OnlyFans disappear don't realize if I lose that income, I'll start fucking their husbands for money again.
Whoa. Mic drop on that.
Wow.
well, dildo drop rather, not a mic drop.
All right. You're telling Mike Richard jokes now. Come on.
Right.
Yeah, Mike Richard jokes.
Alex has said that he gets so many vaccine tests or virus tests that he's starting to think it's a kink. We mentioned the other day how 50% of nurses don't have the vaccine. 96% of doctors do have the vaccine. You want to take a nurse seriously, right? I'd be pissed if I was a nurse.
But now they're mandating it, right? In New York?
I don't know about that. Yeah. I know.
In New York, they are. In New York, they are. Yeah.
Because they're not mandating. Everywhere. They're not mandating cops to do it. 50% of cops, 47% of NYPD Blue of NYPD employees are vaccinated. So far, 59 members of the department have died of COVID. Well, good work, detectives.
Holy shit, that's so many.
60 people in New York Department of Cops died from COVID, and only 47% of them are vaccinated still.
COVID said Black Lives Matter, and I'm not mad at that.
Right.
Sorry.
This is, the U.S. so much ignorance. Just and this is, how the pandemic has caused a lot of people to sort of look at their bad habits, to look at how they like spending their time, what they're spending their time on. I feel like this is somehow related. This is showing the ignorance, the deep-rooted ignorance of this country. 50% of nurses.
Yeah. For the record, the coronavirus vaccines remain extremely effective against the hypercontagious Delta variant, blocking about 80% of infections and slashing odds of hospitalization by more than 90%. So that's good news, I think. Oh, well. Let me ask you this before I let you go, Alex. I want to get your guys' opinion on this. I was talking to Kyle the other day, and I used the word lover. And she told me how she's been holding back, but she's going to be clear. She doesn't like the word lover. It implies an affair or that I'm courting a lady from the 1800s. To me, I'm like, so if somebody says, hey, I have a great place for a lover's weekend, do I go, no, I don't have a lover? Do you have a lover, Keith? No, I have a woman. Well, let me ask you, does a lover take it in the ass or a woman? Can you imagine? I couldn't imagine a world where somebody would tell me, hey, by the time you're 47, you'll never have a lover. I'd rather be told I had cancer. My lover would make me feel a lot better, you know? She calls me baby. I'm a grown man. Anyway, it's a sad day for me. What are your thoughts?
I understand it for some reason, lover. And I wonder if like we are exactly the same age. And I wonder if that word was used so negatively in so many ways. Like, that's why the reference is that's the cheating and the cornball, like the fake, you're my lover. Just all these songs. I think there's a lot of negativity put into that word. So I understand having the response of just cringing. And of course, you have a lot of logic on your side. But I think the history of what that word has generated, the feeling it's generated, it's coming from that. Doesn't mean she's right, but it means like I get where she's coming from. I don't like to be called baby. I don't, because like you said, like that's a word that could be misconstrued also. I don't like any of those, but
I was going to ask, is there any word is there any sort of like identifier that you enjoy, or do you just prefer just your name? Well, because I'm trying to think if I like it or not. I'm not sure.
I go with it. I'm flexible. If we find, if we're going to find a name, it has to be a name that we made up. It can't be baby. So
I say baby via text.
I never say baby. I will never call you baby. If I say baby, it's by accident or sarcastically, like, yeah, baby. And even that, I'm like, was that the first time I ever said that? That's weird. So I don't like it. But Keith, do you have any words that you're like, not that?
No. Shithead, I guess I don't care for. I mean, Taylor Swift's song "Lover." It's fantastic. And now you can't play that for fun. I don't like it. Lover means you're a fun person that does fun things, and there's love.
That's so funny. I just recently came into the room and told Xerxes, like, "Hello, lover," and I'm like, I don't know if that sounds right, but I feel loving saying it to him. But I wonder if he cringed. Talk amongst yourselves. I'm gonna find out. Alex, you
I
feel about it.
Kenda, I don't know what you said. You did a little mutant technique, but she's finding out.
She's doing her investigation.
She's doing her research.
Yeah. I don't know if it makes me cringe that hard when I'm being called it. I don't know if it's my go-to when I introduce someone to like someone that they've never met. I'm like always like, I'd say like my dude. This is my guy, I'm
gonna try that.
And I'm fine with that too. Yeah. It can be, it don't have to be gender specific.
Kenda's reporting back.
I found out and he goes, I go, well, how do you feel about being called lover? And he goes, I don't know. Is the woman at the supermarket calling me that? Or is it you? And I'm like, it's me. And he's like, I guess it's all right every here and again. And I'm like, can I call you lover? And he's like, yeah, if it's occasional. He goes, yeah, I guess that's okay, baby.
There you go.
It still was like, I think he thinks of it the way I do. It's like, I guess we're doing that and it's you. So I know you're coming from that baby lover like space, but I don't know if I'm going to opt
baby
into
lover,
that.
Baby lover space. I love that.
I said, do you
when
still
did you become a baby and a lover?
I said, do you still get blowjobs? She said, what? And I go, because lovers give blowjobs.
Oh.
Whoa.
Yeah, no. So I don't know. It could be you want to talk about slippery slopes.
If you're going to have these qualifiers, they have to mean something. So Keith, I'm not mad at your interpretation of that.
Thank you. Be young and fun. All right. Follow Alex English online at Alex English. And the E for English is a 3. Very clever stuff. See what's doing. His stand-up's great. I say if you're new or newish, take a listen to when he was on the first time. We were there and enjoyed it very much. You can find it on YouTube, episode number 2574. Bring wine. You'll learn all about him if you didn't get everything right here. And that's that. Alex, thank you for your time.
Thank you both. It was so much fun talking to you all today. It's been so long. I hope I get it. I hope I'm allowed back.
We haven't seen you since you were a baby.
That's
right.
I
was truly an infant, carried up the Hudson, through the East River into Queens that fine afternoon.
If you like this episode, if you like this episode, there's a button for that. You know that. Click the like button, throw a comment right on there. Where? Whatever platform you're on right now. Okay. Thanks for the likes. We'll talk to you soon.
KeithAndTheGirl.com